Spoiler alert, here at Baseball America, we love prospects. And if you love prospects and you love baseball cards, then Topps Pro Debut is the set for you. It is the most prospect pack set and release that comes out every year, and we're going to break a box open today. I am Seth Mates, joined by Mr. Baseball America himself, JJ Cooper. And JJ, today we're diving into Topps Pro Debut, which is a loaded product, autographs, prospects on all different levels. And I'm not going to lie to you, I've probably only heard of about 10 or 15% of the people in this set. And so I'm really excited to have you here for the ride.
Obviously, Seth is our baseball card expert. I'm the prospect expert. Although I will tell you, this set is so loaded with minor leaguers. I'm not going to tell you that I could give you a full 1-minute bio on every player in this set. Most of them, yeah, but not everyone. And obviously, there's also over 190 cards here. If we did that, this would be the most paint-drying episode of card breaking you'll ever watch. So we're going to be a little quicker than that. But we are going to dive in. I'm going to spotlight guys who you should, if you see them, if you get them, like, hey, this is the guy to know. Doing that for Seth. And Seth is going to absolutely, through all this, kind of carry me along. Because, again, I'm not our collectibles expert. And I'm kind of enjoying learning more about the collectibles market as we do this.
I just want to say I find it hard to believe there's anybody here you don't know. If I held your feet to the fire, you could probably tell me the starting lineup for the 1987 Dunedin Blue Jays, but we're not going to do that quite yet today. So let's open this up. I don't have my handy-dandy breaker knife with me, so I'll just use a pen. This set does have the same look as the 2024 flagship Topps. This is the box that has 4 autographs. 4 autographs, but less chrome cards. There's also a version of this box that has 3 autographs, but a lot more chrome cards. So we've got, I believe this box has 24 packs, each with 8 cards in them. And so we've got a lot to do here. So you ready to get started?
Let's roll.
You know who that is on the cover of the packs and the cover of the box, right?
Okay, you keep doing this to me. The camera's not good enough to do that. I'm just telling you, my eyes, I don't have my glasses on.
Walker Jenkins, a guy that perhaps...
I thought it was Walker Jenkins, but I believed it was, but I couldn't be 100% certain.
Okay, sorry about that. He hates when I do that. And
if I put my glasses on, I probably could tell, but I'm being vain, and I'm not using my glasses.
No, it's all good. And for the record, by the way, I just want to give a shout-out to Mike James, one of our photographers here, who also took this photograph here. So
sweet.
You like the
cards? Four scene photos.
So first look at some of these cards here. We got Emmanuel Bonilla from the Blue Jays. Yep. Felnin Celestin. I always
I'm stopping you right away already. That's one of the best prospects in the Marlins system. Kind of interesting dude. I'm going to have our little cheat sheet of where did we have Felnin in our most recent. Felnin ranks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th at our most recent. We're getting ready to do our top 10s off season, but 7th in the Mariners system, in a loaded Mariners system, and a loaded with got a lot of guys were closer to the majors, so that's a name to know. Pull that one aside.
I'm putting that in the save for later to show us again pile then. Emmanuel Bonilla, you've probably heard of Ethan Salas.
Yeah, again, it's like we had Ethan on the Hot Sheet show just a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, if you're watching this, I assume that you already know about everything about Ethan Salas. But obviously, the thing that stands out is hard to evaluate because this is the guy who would be draft eligible next year if he had come through. And he did, by the way, who grew up some in the States. So that was an option. Instead, he goes through the international, signs a 16-year-old, and he already now has 2 seasons in full season ball. Not a great year offensively in the Midwest League this year, but a guy who, great defensive catcher, and a guy who's 2 years still ahead of his peers and contemporaries.
That's awesome. So I'm going to put him in the save pile too.
Yes, definitely.
You've heard of this guy. That's Paul Skenes. This is the first pack, JJ. This is the first pack.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, obviously, Skenes is the is our Baseball America's Rookie of the Year, 2024 Rookie of the Year, and is basically a number 1 / if you really are being picky, maybe a number 2, but I'd say a number 1 starter as a rookie. So, what more can you say?
One of the really cool chase cards in this set, by the way, and then I promise folks we'll move on because we got a lot of packs to open. We're excited, and we've got a heck of a first pack here. There's a chase card in this set that's a double auto with Skenes and Dylan Cruz, not only former teammates, but the only teammates ever drafted 1 and 2 in the MLB draft. So that would be kind of cool. But we've already got a Skenes, and we're 5 cards in? We've got Camilo Diaz of the Astros, Mikey Romero on the Red Sox.
First round pick of the Red Sox, although in his case, Roman Anthony also taken in that draft has ended up but Romero did have a good year this year.
Yeah. Roman Anthony currently our number 1 on our top 100 list. Joe Whitman in the Giants organization.
Yep.
And Braylon Tavera from the Orioles organization.
Who I do like a little bit, but again, you could set him. No, you don't need to set him. I would say, if we're gonna have a high bar for the set aside cards here.
Yes.
Set asides are going to be guys who are top 100 or top 100 adjacent.
Yes, or sleeper guys who has the top 30.
Sleeper guys. When I say top 100 adjacent, that's what I mean. Seth Ellison is kind of a guy who's been, he can be in the top 100, but even if he's not, you expect him to be there for long.
All right. Well, I see Chrome card ahead of us here. So we got Ariel Castro of the Twins.
Yep.
Dominic Keegan.
Dominic Keegan from Vandy.
Okay.
Easy top 30 prospect for the Rays. Probably the Rays' best catching prospect, but you can not a top 100 guy. We're being harsh. Our grading.
Griff McGarry of the Iron Pigs,
who is a Jeff Ponce fave.
Yeah. I'll say this one for Jeff. Noah Schultz of the White Sox organization is the number 2 pitching prospect in baseball behind Jackson Jobe. Is that correct?
Elite pitching prospect. The only, and it's understandable considering his age. The only wart he has right now is how deep he's going in the games because he's just so young. But the stuff is exceptional. He's already, he's basically one of the youngest players in AA this year, and watch out for him. Again, that's a clear set aside.
I'm setting that one aside. So our first Chrome that we've gotten in the box is Kendall George, I believe in the Dodgers system.
Yep, Dodgers. Right. Dodgers, Kendall George. I'm just making sure the Dodgers, let's be clear, is a truly loaded system. But I think our most recent, we had him 13th in our Dodgers top 30, and that's 13th right in the range with Jackson Ferris, Edgardo Enriquez and all. Landon Knack, who's in the big leagues and pitching in the World Series like Hernandez is. So that's a solid, I would say, especially you said that's a Chrome?
This is a Chrome, yeah. There's only a handful of Chrome cards in here. There's
Let's
a different
set that one
variation
aside too, obviously.
Yeah, I'm going to put that in the pile here. Brandon Winokur of the Twins.
Brandon Winokur, I would put him in that pile. That is a 6'5", 6'6" short. They thought he was going to be an outfielder, but they were going to let him play shortstop this year, and he played. Maybe he is an infielder. One of the most athletic, highest ceiling guys in the Twin system. I would include him in the set aside pile.
Wow. So the guy's 6'5", and they gave him the horizontal card instead of the vertical one. But
why not give him the length? I don't know. Weird.
That's one I would never have known, and so thank you. That's awesome. Jake DeLeo.
Yep.
The Jupiter Hammerheads.
These are
Cam Collier.
Cam Collier there too. I can tell that. I can recognize that jersey. That's the set aside. Cam Collier was one of the youngest junior college players ever drafted, with the Bryce Harper route, where he basically, instead of being a high school draftee in 2023, he went the year earlier, 23. Yeah, and went the year earlier by going to JUCO. So he basically became draft eligible after his high school junior year, but now coming out of junior college. And made it to high A Dayton this year. Third baseman, probably more of a first baseman long term, but big time power. There may be 30 home run power in there for Cam Collier down the road. And son of longtime big leaguer Lou Collier.
Oh, wow. And he was MVP of the Futures game, if memory serves, this year too.
And he was that too. So put him in the set aside pile as well.
I will.
A lot of cards already in the set aside pile.
Which is already taller than most packs are. To anyone watching this, by the way, even though Pro W came out a little while ago, you're going to want to stay tuned, because hearing JJ's analysis and who to save from this set is going to give you a whole new stack of cards you're going to want to put in top loaders and get graded potentially, because we're well underway here in Baseball America on our top 10s, top 30s. It's prospect season here already. It starts early.
I'm working on my Reds top 10 as we literally have stopped doing it just long enough to do this. Then I got to go back to writing up the number 8 prospect in the Reds system.
Yep, and JJ's already seen them all. So the analysis you're getting right now, you will not find newer, better analysis anywhere than right now. So let me go through this pack. I see a backwards card here, which is usually a good sign of something numbered or something special. So let me save that one for last. We've got Nathan Detmer from the Athletic System. Hunter Haas from the Bowling Green Hot Rods. You know the minor league affiliates better than I do here, so I'll just say the
names. Bowling Green is I've actually been to Bowling Green and to that stadium. I really like that operation, but you can continue.
Yeah. Ivan Melendez, who I believe was Baseball America's
college player of the year out of Texas.
Yep. Is that worth putting aside? Is he
Yeah, you can put it aside. D-backs again, slugger. I mean, yeah, I would say, college player of the year. You get the pile.
Yeah. We got Marco Vargas of the Mets.
Yep, we saw him. He was the first pick, so there's something coming behind this, I think.
Angel Janau.
Angel Janau is a definite set aside. That is one of the Guardians are overloaded with middle infielders who can hit, and Janau could end up being the best of that group.
Really?
That's a top 100 caliber prospect. Again, I will look up. I'm going to look up. I'm not giving sneak peeks ahead. I'm giving what we have right now, but I am giving sneak peeks of what we have right now. Janau is our number 5 Guardians prospect right now, and that is in a truly loaded system. Top 100 prospect, easy one to put into the set-aside pile.
That is a name that of all the breaks I've watched of all of this, I've never heard him spotlighted as someone worth putting aside. So thank you. I'm going to do that right now. We got Kristian Campbell, Baseball America's 2024 Minor League Player of the Year for your Boston Red Sox.
Easy set aside. I mean, again, if you're watching this and you don't know that, get your Baseball America subscription. That is your coming out of nowhere, basically coming out of Georgia Tech last year, was seen as a good athlete. Questions about the power. Really embraced the Red Sox hitting development, working on bat speed, working on increasing his power. This year, he goes out and rockets through the minors, basically from A ball to AAA. There was the quote big 3 for the Red Sox prospects. Now it's a big 4. And by the way, Campbell, who wasn't even on that big 3, is now one of the prime guys in that big 4, kind of having surpassed arguably some of the others. Kristian Campbell, easy add to the set aside.
I will absolutely do so. Look at this guy, Dylan Cruz. I'm sure you've heard of him.
Again, so we have the number 1 and the number 2 picks from last year's draft. LSU teammates, Paul Skenes and Dylan Cruz, both of whom have already made the majors. Cruz, I would say, has not yet had the big league dominance that we saw from Skenes, but at the same time, anyone who makes it in their basically first full season to the big leagues, and especially holds their own like Cruz did, is something worthy of note. Slam dunk add to the set aside pile.
Absolutely will. But before I do that, let me do the quick dramatic turnaround to see what our hit card is here. Oh my God.
That is a very nice one.
Do you know what that is, JJ?
Okay, that's the Sebastian Walcott.
No. Let me cut you off. Let me cut you off here because I'm not sure you understand what we just hit.
Okay.
Holy cow. Okay. In every, I'm speechless right now. In every set, in every box of cards, there are refractors, there are logo fractors, there's all kinds of fractors and stuff. There's also a superfractor.
Okay.
It's a 1 of 1. It is incredibly rare. It is incredibly valuable. This is a 1 of 1 Sebastian Walcott superfractor autographed. This is a monster card, JJ. This is a huge card. That's not just an insert that's numbered. That is a 1 of 1 superfractor that we just hit. That is, I'm in shock.
This is why we need you on this, because I would have been like, Sebastian Walcott, that's a really good prospect. That's a cool card. Sonato, yeah, I know all those things. I did not know that. And that is, because Sebastian Walcott, by the way, we talked about this with Ethan Salas. Sebastian Walcott, the best way I could describe what the Rangers have done with him is take a guy and toss him into the depths of the ocean, and like when you trust that he really can't swim. And Sebastian Walcott has been the youngest guy everywhere he's gone, and it took him a little while this year to figure it out, but he did. This is a face of the franchise type guy with big time tools. Who, by the way, if you look at his overall stats this year, you may go, okay, that's nice. No, look at what he did. Again, he was the youngest player by far in that league. And once he kind of caught up to the league, he was one of the better players there. This is the Rangers' number 1 prospect. This is one that's going not just in the set-aside pile, but is already being, protected. So yes.
This one's getting great, and this one's paying the holiday bills this year. That is a monster hit there. A 1 of 1 superfractor of a tippy-top prospect. And again, this is a box that I bought randomly at a card show. This is not.
Yeah, this is not stacked in any way.
No, this is. I just need a second. I'm still speechless. A 1 of 1 superfractor. Holy cow! Anyway, all right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, see, I'm getting this one's like we need you on this because I would have not known to react that way.
Yes. Whew. Anyway, all right, let's move on here.
That's where I'm the neophyte here. Everyone watching this is like, how did JJ not know that? And I'm like, no, I didn't know that.
All right, we still got like 20 packs to go here too. This is,
and you're already ahead here. You've already got what you wanted to see, and
I'm ahead for the year on that one. So, yeah. Jet Williams of the New York baseball
top 100 prospect, easy set aside, center fielder, shortstop, probably center fielder long term. Great on base skills, great athlete, and a guy who really, if you saw Luis Angel Acuna come up for the Mets at the end of the season, kind of provide a spark plug, imagine a better version of that. That's what I'd say Jet Williams is.
Awesome. That's getting set aside. Chase Davis of the Cardinals.
Again, very good prospect. I would not put it in the set aside, but solid prospect. Okay. Like legitimately solid, like first round pick, all that. I would say we're being really picky on this. He's not a top 100 or top 100 adjacent right now, so I think you can, not put him aside yet. But because otherwise our stack's going to be that tall.
One thing I do as a collector when I open pro debut cards is I definitely put aside people in the Baseball America top 100, the autographs, etc. I never create like a box of, okay, I'll just give these away. You put them away, you save them, and you come back to them a year or two later because you never know who you're going to find in there.
And that's a top 10 prospect in the Cardinals organization. So like, I don't want, like that. That's a solid card right there. Yeah. I'm just saying like we're being picky.
Yes. No, well, and that's fine. I see another refractor coming up here, or another chrome card, I should say. Sorry, I'm still in a little bit of shock. Brock Wilken of the Biloxi Shuckers.
Guy can really hit.
Yeah. I see an insert card here. Greetings from Arizona from Ricardo Cabrera of the ACL Reds. This is one of the insert cards.
So I was going to say, as I said, I'm working on the Reds top 10 prospects. I was writing Ricardo Cabrera 10 minutes before we started this. And I could probably, I'm not going to overdo this here, but like this is one of the better hitters in the Reds system. He was top 10 in pretty much every offensive category in the Arizona Complex League in 2023. 2024, you lost 98 points off his batting average. You're like, oh, so he had a much worse year. Actually, no. He was ranked higher. He was 6th in the ACL in batting in 23. He was 4th in the FSL, the Florida State League, in batting this year. It's just that much harder of an offensive environment. Offensive first, third baseman / second baseman. Plays them short now, but really a third baseman, second baseman. I would say, especially because it's a special card, add it to the set aside.
I will do that. And speaking of special, here is our next chrome card. It is Amarian Boyd of the Clearwater Threshers. I believe that's a Phillies affiliate. Is that right?
Yes, that is a Phillies affiliate, and Amarian is on our top 30 for the Phillies. It's a cool card. It's a refractor, right? Yeah. It's not a Sebastian Walcott, one of one, but it is a refractor, and it is a top 30 prospect in the, again, a guy with a pretty good ceiling, although pretty far away, and we'll see how well it all comes together.
Okay. And then we have Joe Vitrano of the Dodgers organization.
Rancho Cucamonga.
Man, I love Rancho. I used to live there. Maui Ahuna of the San Francisco.
Maui Ahuna, who was a Tennessee transfer, one of the top transfers in the college transfer class for 23, I think it was, maybe 23 for 24. But, now one of the, infielder in the Giants system. I would not put him in the set aside yet. The bat will be the question about whether he eventually moves into that pile. But good prospect.
No, that's great. And Robbie Snelling, who was our minor league pitcher of the year last year or 2 years ago for the
2023 minor league pitcher of the year. Great year. Not so great a year this year. Got traded to the Marlins at the deadline. Still a very solid pitching prospect, top 10 prospect in the Marlins system. Definitely set aside prospect, but, looking for a bounce back year in 25 after a setback of a year in 24.
Okay. Well, I'm going to skip to the first.
We said we're going to do this in 20 minutes. We were stupid.
Loaded. I mean, we can just kind of jam through a few of these, but this box is loaded. And speaking of which, Rhett Lauder, speaking of the Cincinnati Reds organization, anything you want to add?
Yes, clearly I wrote him up already. Great debut with the big league club. Easy set aside. One of the best pitching prospects in baseball. Still eligible, although he has made now, I believe, 6 big league starts.
I have another backwards card here. If it's another 1-of-1 Superfractor, then I quit. I'm just going to sell the cards in this box.
I see a Norfolk Tide.
That's Jackson Holliday. What is this?
I think you could do this one.
What's that? I think
you can do the explaining on this one. This was our number 1 prospect in baseball last year. Has now graduated, but obviously that's an easy add to the set-aside pile. And again, some of these I'm like, okay, do you really need me to tell you much about him? We are thinking, like, hey, not a great MLB debut, but I would say at the same time, do remember how young he was. Give him time. Next year, he'll basically be the age of, like, I think Jackson Merrill, at the end of this year. So,
from the moment I started working here and first heard this guy's name, and how good he was, I've been hoarding his cards. And even when he came up earlier this year and struggled a little bit, I was told it's okay. And there's a lot of different variables, and there's been a lot of great analysis on our site, much of which is from JJ. And this is a guy whose cards you're going to want to hold on to, and he's red hot. He's fantastic. How you lead, did I pronounce that correctly, of the Whitecaps?
Yep. Is the former Phillies prospect traded to the Tigers at the deadline 2 years ago. Easy top 30 prospect, second baseman for the Tigers. Really good hitter, and the defense has proven better than I expected. I wouldn't say add him to the set-aside, but solid prospect.
Okay. Cole Young of the Seattle Mariners organization.
That is a 1-2. I would say, again, add to the, let me see. Cole ranks right now, again, easy top 10 prospect. Ranks number 3 on our Mariners top. Again, I have found Settleston. Add him to the set-aside pile.
I will do that. Grayson Hitt of the Diamondbacks from the ACL. Mm-hmm. We have Carlson Reed of the Pirates from the FCL.
Yep.
We have Jack Mahoney of the Rockies from the ACL. Yep. And then we have
there's something coming behind that.
Yeah, we got a blue card. And it's another autograph. Our next autograph, Derniche Valdez of the Cubs.
So, okay. Now, Derniche is a little further away, if I remember correctly. And I'm looking to see if he cracks our 30. I don't think he's a Cubs top 30 prospect right now. So, but it's an auto. So, absolutely.
I'll take it. And it's numbered to 150. So, not too bad. So, numbered auto, I'll take it. We're running out of room here on the stage already. There's too much going on. All right, let's go. We got our first two of our first 4 autos. We've got a 1-of-1 Superfractor. We've got Skenes. We've got Holliday. What else can we possibly hit in here? Luis Guanipa of the FCL Braves.
That's not set aside yet, but that's one of the better prospects, better young prospects in the Braves organization. Just looking him up while we're talking, and Guanipa is 16th on the Braves top 30. So, okay. No, not set aside yet, but good prospect.
Matt Shaw from the Cubs organization.
First rounder, that's an easy set aside, top 100 prospect. One of the best prospects close to the big leagues in the Cubs system. One of several close to the big league guys. I would expect to see him in the big leagues in 2025. Infielder, second baseman, third baseman, easy set aside.
Okay, that's good to know. Elijah Green of the Nationals, who was on
first rounder, son of Eric Green, the former Steelers first round pick tight end, who was one of the biggest tight ends you'll ever see. Elijah Green, strikeout rate is a concern. I would still put him in the set aside pile just because if it all comes together, you're talking a great defense, great power. If he can make more contact, but there's a lot of risk there too. That is a card that has a lot of risk, but would have a very high reward if everything came together.
And you just described most of the cards in this box, and that's what we love. Yeah. So I'm definitely adding him to that pile. We have Chase Jaworski from the FCL Astros. We have another insert, Heroes of the Diamond, Spencer Jones of the New York Yankees.
One of the top prospects in the Yankees organization. Very big, judgy insides, I would say. Big power. Strikeout rate this year is going to have to get under control. Clearly, it's set aside, but he's been in our top 100. Strikeout rate is the thing that will be if you can check that box. Vanderbilt product again was a pitcher actually when he went to Vanderbilt, turned into a slugging hitter with really good athleticism for a guy that big. Add him to the set aside pile.
I absolutely will. Austin Charles of the Columbia Fireflies.
I wouldn't put him in the set aside pile, but if you're talking about Royals prospects with the highest ceiling, Austin Charles is absolutely one of those.
Okay. That's good to know. I did not know that. Devin Saltaban of the FCL Phillies. I feel like I've heard that name.
Very solid prospect. Saltaban is 13th on our Phillies top 30 in our most recent update. I would not put him in the set aside, but again, these are most all of these. They're in here for a reason, obviously. I should probably not say that every time, because again, most of these guys are top 30 prospects.
Yeah, no, that's good to know. Absolutely. And then we end with Kiefer Lord of the Delmarva Shorebirds. So
Kiefer Lord is another top 30 prospect, not a top 100 prospect right now, but a top 30 prospect. I'm trying to be quicker. I'm not doing a good job of being quicker.
No. I'm not doing this because I'm rushing.
But again, I don't want people to think like we're going to comment on every one. And and then like, wait, well, I didn't you comment Chase Jaworski because I got to talk about Chase Jaworski, and I'm trying to be more selective about just talk about the set aside guys.
This box has been so loaded. For those of you just joining us or didn't see, we have a 1-of-1 Superfractor that we pulled from like the second pack. This box has been loaded. There's a ton of great stuff to say, and this release especially is where your insight and Baseball America's insight can be a difference between hitting a huge card and knowing who to save and not. So
see, it's De La Cruz. So it's Carlos De La Cruz of the Phillies, right?
Yep, Carlos De La Cruz of the Phillies.
He's another tall, big outfielder. We can just keep going, but yeah, tall, big outfielder.
Joe Redfield of the Tri-City Dust Devils.
Yep, again, solid prospect.
Yeah. Dylan Beavers of the Bowie Bay Sox.
Second round pick. The Orioles love their college outfielders that they take high up, and he's another one of those. But again, these are all I have not flagged any set asides yet.
No, that's fine. That's all good. Brock Jones of the Bowling Green Hot Rods.
First rounder again from a couple of years ago, college outfielder. I would not put him in the set aside right now, but still has been a top 30 prospect for the Rays.
Okay, we got another insert here. I'm going to actually save that for the end.
Okay.
We have Colton Ledbetter of the Charleston River Dogs.
Mm-hmm. Again, solid prospect in the Rays system.
Yeah, we have Colby Thomas of the Lansing Lugnuts.
Colby's a really interesting. Put him in the set aside. He's been a top 100 discussion guy. One of the better. System's getting better, and he's one of the guys to note for that.
Okay, that's good to know. I'm learning a lot here. I hope everyone else is too. Stick with us. This is awesome. Thank you, JJ. Garrett Forrester of the Bradenton Marauders. That's the Pirate system, right?
Pirate system, Florida State League. Yep.
Okay, we got another hot rod here. Another Brock Jones card. I feel like we got him already.
Did you save that? It's two? Okay.
Or maybe it's just the one from earlier, and I just never took it out. Anyway,
I think you may have rolled it around because you wanted to protect the last card.
Thank you. And our insert card is another Heroes of the Diamond, and that's Paul Skenes again.
Again, you just add that to the set aside. We've already talked about Skenes. And if you're watching this, I can't imagine that you'd be like, Paul Skenes who?
We still have half the box left to rip. We still have 2 autographs left at the minimum, and we've already hit pretty much everything. What else is there? And I'm hoping that I will find the answer to that question out. So there is a very sparkly card coming up here.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see it. So we'll save that one for last because that's what I've seen all the real breakers do. We have Justin Crawford of the Philadelphia.
That's an easy set aside. Question is, how much power is he? But son of Carl Crawford, easy top 100 prospect, one of the best prospects in the Philly system, one of the best pure hitters in the minor leagues. Athletic, really kind of on the Carl Crawford path, although the question will be how much power. Hits the ball on the ground a lot, but easy set aside.
Awesome. We have Brock Rodden of the Modesto Nuts.
Who's a kind of again, an interesting hitter. I wouldn't put him on the set aside, but there's some hitting ability there.
Yeah. One of the fun things about Pro Debut, and I do this with older sets, is, again, you go through the ones that you didn't set aside when you first opened them, and a year or two later, you never know who you're going to hit. So we have a guy named Seth, just like me, Seth Keener of the Kannapolis Cannonballers.
Yep. White Sox system.
Yeah. We have Glider Figueroa of the Down East Wood Ducks.
And that's Down East, which is going to be moving before long to Spartanburg. Well, the Rangers are moving that to Spartanburg, but then it's going to flip, and Down East will become Hickory, and Hickory will become Spartanburg. But
that was minor league ballpark standards, right? They had to,
Yes.
So, okay. See, I read our stuff. I love it. JJ, tell us about Max Clark.
Okay, so this is the Tigers' first round pick in 23. Went out this year. You're talking about a potential 5-tool player, top-notch speed, top-notch defense and center, can throw, can hit for average, can hit for power. One of the top prospects in baseball, slam dunk add to the set-aside pile.
I will be happy to do so. We have Yoendry Vargas of the ACL Dodgers.
Yep. Again, top 30 prospect, but don't have to set him aside, but solid prospect.
And this next guy, JJ, I got to peek at his name, as some of our viewers might have also. This is a guy who's kind of been jumping up our top 100 list this year, if memory serves. Aiden Miller of the Phillies.
Yes, that was if you said breakout prospects is a little strong for him because Aiden Miller was a dude coming into the year with a high draft pick and all, but had a very good rocketed kind of, I would say, an exceptional first half of the season. Tailed off a little bit in the second half, which is not shocking, first full season and all that, but easy top 100 prospect, easy add to the set-aside pile.
Awesome. I will do that. And now, before I do that, though, we have to reveal our big sparkly card. It is somebody from the ACL Guardians. I don't know if it's an auto. It probably is, but I'm not sure. JJ, what were you saying? I'm sorry.
I was going to say, so that's a refractor?
This is it's a refractor, and it's a numbered refractor.
Okay, let's see.
I'm sorry?
Let's see.
Let's see. Well, it's numbered to 50. This is 49 out of 50.
Okay.
And it is Welbin Francisca.
Okay. Welbin is a very solid. Let me see where Welbin ranks right now. Welbin, I've written him up because I did the Guardians in season 13th on the Guardians top 30, which you may say, oh, number 13. Well, I mean, at the same time, like we've had 8 of the Guardians prospects in our top 100 at some point. I could make a case for number 9, maybe 10. So yeah, like, I mean, this is again, very solid prospect, especially for as you put that in, in the display, a unique card as well.
Some people like jewelry, some people just like shiny whatever. We have our baseball cards here. They look so nice. And again, if you're just joining us, that is a 1-of-1 Superfractor we pulled from the 3rd pack of Sebastian Walcott, and it's autographed. Love it. All right, here we go. Chase the Louder. Speaking of Guardians, first round pick a couple of years ago, has had foot issues that have kept him off the field, but whenever he is on the field, he mashes big time power, easy add to the set aside stash. All right, I love it. Dario Laverde of the Inland Empire 66ers. We have Kenny. I'm sorry?
Yeah, good. Keep going.
I was going to say Kenny Gomez of the FCL Astros.
Mm-hmm.
Mac Horvath of the Aberdeen Ironbirds.
That looks like it's in North Carolina garb, understandably, because he was a recent Tar Heel.
Yeah, this is one thing I love, but I think that's actually an Ironbirds uniform, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, it is? Okay, yeah. It looks like it's Carolina blue.
Yeah, this is actually one of the only sets that actually pictures guys in their minor league uniforms. Even the Bowman ones oftentimes Photoshop them. Don't tell anyone I told you that, into their major league duds. So that's cool. Mac Horvath, Rock Riggio of the Tampa Tarpons.
Mm-hmm.
Garrett Bowman of the Augusta Green Jackets.
Yep.
Christopher Torrin of the Visalia Rawhide. And Cade Kuehler of the Augusta Green Jackets. So our first pack that's decent.
Again, these are, I'm trying to be a little bit more circumspect, but those are several guys. I mean, again, like Mac Horvath, for example, was a top draft prospect. Isn't that far away, But again, we're trying to keep our set aside pile to a level where they don't topple over.
But if the people watching this are anything like me, they're getting huge value out of this and appreciating this. And if you want us to do more of this, like and subscribe, and we'll keep doing them, and send us your questions.
We got another Marion Boyd.
Yeah. Marion Boyd of the Threshers. We got another
Although this one's a standard card, unlike the last one we had from Marion Boyd.
We got a chrome and an insert coming up, so let me do that so we save them for last. Cooper Ingle of the Lake County.
Okay, this is what I'm going to set aside. I'm going to add into the set aside pile, even though some people go, what? This is the guy, we had him on the Hot Sheet show recently, he was at Clemson, kind of a bat first catcher whose defense has really kind of caught up more. Still got to work on it to, continue to work on it. But it's also, while catching, one of the best hitters in A-ball this year. Definite set aside, definite guy who is probably a little bit less known right now, but could really pop.
Good to know. I'm not even familiar with the name, respectfully to Mr. Ingle, outside of when he was on our show. So that's awesome. That's great to know. We have Tommy Hawk of the ACL Guardians.
I do love his name, Tommy Hawk, but keep rolling. But
I'm guessing that these photos were taken at the same field, probably about 10 minutes apart from each other.
Well, no, I mean, all out of Arizona Complex, the chain link all looks very similar.
Yes. So Tommy Hawk, we got David McCabe of the Rome Emperors.
Coming back off a TJ Charlotte product, Charlotte, University of Charlotte, really good hitter, top 30 prospect for the Braves, top 10 prospect for the Braves, one of their better hitting prospects.
Cool.
Here's our boy that we saw, because that's protecting the next one.
Well, it's protecting the ones at the end here. So before we get to those, we have Nazan Zanatello. Did I pronounce that correctly? Of the Salem Red Sox.
Solid Red Sox prospect.
Cool. We have Max Anderson of the Lakeland Flying Tigers.
I would say not set aside, but when we talk about Tigers prospects, this was one of their top picks in 23. Question about his defense, the bats, they're betting on the bat.
I just want to point out again that JJ's doing 99% of this from the top of his head, and it's astounding.
Yeah, I'll tell you, if I'm going over to what other guy ranked, that's what I'm looking over for that. But this is just, this is what we do.
He knows all. He knows all. Our insert card is a greetings from Florida card of Colin Houck of the FCL Mets.
We were just having a Colin Houck discussion recently on the Slack channel because where does he rank? There's we got some high guys in Baseball America and some little bit, more, a little bit lower guys on him. But again, that's easy because the special card add to the set aside pile.
Absolutely. And our next Chrome card from the FCL Blue Jays, we have Emmanuel Bonilla.
Okay, so again, these are more what I would say your normal Chromes and all. And I don't mean that in any way. I'm looking to see if Bonilla, he's 19th on our Blue Jays top 30. So solid prospect, but at the same time, not the same thing as when we pulled the Sebastian Walcott 1/1 refractor.
No, not the same at all. So, all right, here we go. I'm excited because we still have 2 autos left. We still got half the box left. I can't wait to see what we get next. Hunter Barco from the Pirates organization.
Hunter Barco, again, one of the top pitching prospects in a system that really has done a really good job with pitchers. I was just talking about him with Mark Chiarelli recently and kind of did a debate about him and all. Don't put him in the set aside. Our set aside is getting so big. But I believe also, if I was seeing an IG, I think he just got engaged as well.
Congratulations to Hunter Barco. Congratulations.
I think that my memory serves. But
we have, and if not, good luck in the future with that. Luis Lara of the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, which is the Brewers organization.
Luis Lara, I would say, is a set aside. Again, he's on that borderline, but 15th on our Blue Jays. Don't set him aside right now. But yeah, I like him. I would say that he's a little bit small, a little smaller than I kind of thought. Defense is really good. A little bit wore out as the season went along this year.
Possibly a name to remember for the future.
Yeah.
Okay. Samuel Basallo of the Bowie Bay Sox.
Basallo is a clear add to the set-aside pile. One of the top prospects in the Orioles system, maybe the top prospect. We're debating about that. But that's one of the best young catchers. Power. I think the defense is showing he probably can stay behind the plate. We'll see. He's not Adley Rutschman, but so he may end up playing some other positions now because he's going to be in AAA in 2025. And once you're at that point, you probably need to figure out a way to work your way in the lineup more regularly than if Adley gets hurt.
Yes, which hopefully doesn't happen. So Samuel Basallo. George Lombard Jr. is a prospect for the Yankees. A lot of baseball
set aside.
Excited about.
First round pick. I'm going to try not to, but this is where I feel old because I covered George Lombard Sr. when he was in his first year of pro ball. I've apologized on a podcast before, but George, I'm really sorry for how bad I thought your center field defense was at the time. I was a young kid. I was in my early 20s, just fresh out of college, and did not realize at the time that comparing George Lombard's defense in center to a 17-year-old named Andrew Jones was probably unfair because as I came to realize as I became more experienced, I was watching the best defensive center fielder I'd ever see, and I was comparing a normal, young kid to that.
Anybody watching this right now?
Lombard Jr. is a shortstop and a very solid prospect in his own right. Add to the set-aside pile.
If anybody watching this right now has a connection to George Lombard Sr., please make sure that he knows again that JJ apologized.
Oh, George and I have talked about this in the past. I'll also say for George Lombard Sr. had the worst outfield arm I have ever seen in that year. And that was true. That was not comparing him to Andrew Jones. And he, to his credit, worked on it. When he retired, now he's going to be a major league manager one day. He's already interviewing for those jobs right now, bench coach for the Tigers right now. But when he retired, he had a 50, a solid average outfield arm. You don't see a whole lot of guys who go from a 10 arm to a 50.
That's awesome. So George Lombard Jr. is a set aside, yes?
Yes.
Okay. We got an insert card here. It's Dylan Cruz again. Road to the show. We've heard of him.
So easy set aside.
Adam Mazer of the San Antonio Missions.
Mm-hmm. I think he's already reached the majors a little bit, but yeah, not a set aside. But again, that's a solid pitcher.
Okay. Dernichi Valdez of the ACL Cubs. I feel like we got him already.
We just got him, and I would say not a set aside for a standard card. No.
Okay, we will start to see a lot of doubles here as we go through the box here. And Luke Keishall of the Cedar Rapids Colonels.
Set aside. This is again one that I would assume that most people watching this know, but if you don't know to set him aside, one of the breakout prospects of 24, college bat, relatively high draft pick, not a first round or anything like that, but high enough that it's known coming out of college that this guy could really hit. went out and did more than that. Did have an elbow injury that eventually led him to be shut down and have Tommy John surgery. Defensive versatility, can play in the infield, can play in the outfield. I wouldn't be shocked to see him playing in the big leagues for the Twins at some point in 25.
That's awesome. I am setting that aside.
And top 100 prospect.
Yeah. Again, for everybody watching this, let us know in the comments. Do you find this kind of analysis helpful? I mean, I'm a collector and I love it, and it adds value to the set for me. And I just love hearing JJ stories and all that. And it's just fun to open cards. But let us know if you want to see more of this. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff here on the
Parker
YouTube.
Mystic, I assume there.
There's a 1987 throwback card in here too, so I'm going to come back.
Okay, I'm going to love that because that's when I actually did collect cards.
That's your set. So Davison De Los Santos, the Amarillo Sod Poodles.
That's a set aside because Davison De Los Santos traded to the Marlins since then. He's a Marlin now. Traded at the trade deadline, led the minors in home runs this year. Had one of the best years in the minors this year. Still some concerns about swing and miss, about where he's going to play defensively. However, you got a minor league home run champ there. I'd set him aside.
I will do that. Thank you. Spencer Nivens of the Columbia Fireflies.
Mm-hmm. I love those Fireflies unis, by the way.
Gabriel Rincones Jr. of the Jersey Shore Blue Claws.
Which, again, it's sad to say, I think, when I see juniors now, I'm more likely to remember the seniors than the juniors.
That is the bluest jersey I've ever seen in my life, by the way. That is impressive. We have Parker Messick of the Lake County Captains.
Easy top 30 prospect for the Guardians. Good pitcher. I wouldn't put him in the set-aside pile, but he's a Guardian, so I wouldn't be shocked at all if we end up seeing him, make 30 starts at some point and be very effective in the big leagues. Really knows how to pitch.
I'll remember him for my Fantasy Dynasty team in 2028 then. That's great. Aiden Sanchez of the ACL Cubs.
Mm-hmm.
Rainer Arias of the ACL Giants.
Rainer's, he's I'm looking where he is now. Rainer, where does Rainer right now with us? Yeah, he's 8th or so on the Giants list. I wouldn't put him in the set-aside pile yet, but I wouldn't be shocked if he developed into that.
Okay. Coming up next is our 1987 throwback card.
Okay.
I'll tell you now, it's Adam Jones it's actually Adam Jones. Their 1987 throwback cards are actually current and retired players with old school photos. So that's actually Adam Jones.
And that's Adam Jones when he was still a Mariners prospect, it looks like.
I didn't even know
that's when he was traded in the, what was the name of the lefty? He was part of a big trade with the Mariners to the Orioles, and the Orioles ended up winning that trade. But it was a lefty starter. I'm blanking on the name right now. Me and names are the worst part. But yeah, I was still at BA when Adam Jones was coming up. So
we'll try to add it in post. And our Chrome card from the Tortugas.
Okay.
Ricardo Cabrera.
We already talked about Ricardo Cabrera. This is a top 10 prospect in the red system. Really good bat. Third base, second base profile.
Love it. So much for trying to get this done in 20 minutes.
Let's see if I can just pull what Adam Jones.
We have another Chrome coming up here. Should I plow through and you jump in as you hear me?
Keep going. Okay.
We got Brock Vradenberg of the Jupiter Hammerheads.
Mm-hmm.
We have Drew Thorpe of the Birmingham Barons. He's one of the top.
Again, if you're seeing that, he's a big leaguer now and a really good changeup.
Yep. Calvin Harris of the Kannapolis Cannonballers.
Yep.
Jace Jung of the Erie Seawolves. I think he's
that's a set aside. That is the younger brother of Josh. He is, again, a legit middle, infielder, top 100 type himself. Easy set aside. By the way, I picked the wrong year to tell you what he was traded for, but there is number 1 prospect Adam Jones for Seattle from the 07 book. So.
Outstanding. And don't forget, everybody, you can pre-order your 2025 Baseball America Prospect Handbook right now at baseballamerica.com. Please get a copy when you buy it through us.
Yep. That's okay. So you could add him to the set aside.
I'm going to add Jace Jung. Tommy Troy of the Hillsboro Hops. Tell me about Tommy Troy. I got an autograph card of him. Was it worth?
So I would not put him in the set aside right now. I'm not trying to be critical of these guys. Like Troy did not have he's a first rounder. Didn't have a great 2024 season. I would say better AFL. Kind of they've moved him down the defensive spectrum a little bit. I think he's going to be more of a second baseman going forward, which hopefully will help. But, looking for a bounce back here in 25 after, I would say, again, a year that I would best describe it this way. I think Tommy Troy would be like, I was hoping to have a better year this year.
Good to know. We have Walker Jenkins. He seems like a good baseball player.
Set aside, easy. I mean, he's on the cover of the whole box. So, I mean, that's a slam dunk one.
He was the
most talented
last year.
Number one prospect in the Twin system, one of the most talented all-around prospects in the minors. And if you told me, like right now, if I'm handicapping 2025 Minor League Player of the Year awards, like he would be a pretty good candidate because he missed some time this year. So I think he will spend at least the vast majority of the season in the minors next year. That's the problem you have with a lot of these guys is like Paul Skenes was not a good minor league player of the year candidate coming into the year because he was going to be in the majors, so that's but Walker Jenkins, easy set aside.
Okay, I'm doing that right now. We have Ryan Clifford from the Mets organization.
Yep, a former Astro, traded at the deadline 2 seasons ago now because as we're basically done with the 24 season. I wouldn't set him aside, but at the same time, very solid prospect.
Okay, and our next Chrome card from the Aberdeen Ironbirds, this might be a big one because the Orioles, Enrique Bradfield Jr.
Okay, so your first rounder a couple of years ago from Vanderbilt, one of the fastest players in the minors, stolen bases galore, maybe a 8 defender, which is a top of the scale defender in center field. Probably should play for the big league club at some point in 25. Set aside.
All right. Well, here we go. We still got about 10 packs left. Oops, sorry about that. Got to get rid of these wrappers here. All right, we have. Help me with this name, JJ.
Jose DePaula.
Okay.
That's an easy set aside. That is one of the best young hitting prospects in the game. Dodgers prospect, which the Dodgers seem to churn out international signings who turn into studs year after year after year. DePaula is a slam dunk top 100 prospect, easy add to the set aside pile.
Fantastic. We have Emmanuel Torrero of the Pirates organization.
Bradenton, yep.
We have Cole Carrig, who I believe is in the Rockies organization. Is that
Rockies
right?
organization? I would put him in the set aside. He gave up this year. Last year, he was the truly unique catcher, shortstop, center field profile. If I remember correctly, he's given up the catching now in his shortstop center field. So, but that kind of tells you the premium athleticism he has.
Mm-hmm. So he's a put aside, or he's a maybe?
He's a put aside. Yeah, I'll put him aside.
We have Jonah Cox of the San Jose Giants. We have Moises Ballesteros of the Tennessee Smokies.
Easy set aside. One of the best young hitters in the game. Big body, but maybe he'll stay behind the plate. I would say Jeff Ponce and I both talked about how seeing him at the Futures game and all. It's like, it's a better body than Alejandro Kirk. I'll put it that way. Easy set aside.
Cool. We have Gabriel Gonzalez of the Cedar Rapids Colonels.
He would have been a set aside a year ago. Traded last year in the DeSclafani trade, I think it was. With the second baseman, names with big leaguers, but injured this year. There's big power there, but I would not set him aside right now.
Okay. We have Quinn McDaniel of the San Jose Giants. Yep. And we have Peyton Pillette of the Kannapolis Cannonballers.
If you're a Razorback or just a Razorback fan, that would be a set aside. I would not set aside right now, but if you were a Razorback fan, you would definitely.
All right, well, let's consolidate here a little bit.
I was going to say, Seth is not an Arkansas Razorback fan.
We're in the home stretch. Here, I'll let you see here so we can just kind of count down. We still have 2 autographs left. I'm guessing we still have at least 1 or 2 more numbered cards coming up. Maybe we'll get both on the same card. Oh, and we're starting this pack with the number 1 prospect on Baseball America's Top 100 list. JJ, you want to talk about Roman Anthony?
Yeah, so clearly set him aside, but Roman Anthony, it's funny. I was just looking at our 2022 high school scout notes recently for another player I was working on, and it was like there was a line in there that said, at the time, Anthony was a guy with probably some of the best power in that class, but a lot of concerns about swing and miss issues. Still has the power. The swing and miss issues have largely gone away. This guy has really developed as a hitter, knows the strike zone, doesn't really chase, hits the ball a mile and a half. Outfielder who should be in the big leagues at some point in 25. Again, when we talk about that Red Sox big 4, that's number 1 of the big 4 is Roman Anthony. And again, easily add him to the pile. So that's
what I've noticed, JJ, as a collector, is that guys like Skenes and Holliday and Jackson Merrill and like that had hugely popular prospect cards, still do, and that's transitioned to their major league rookie cards here. Roman Anthony, as a top prospect, is a guy who kind of flies under the radar a little bit in the hobby, and he's somebody that I've started piecing, which is, adding to my personal collection and just kind of putting aside and kind of gathering a little bit, because Roman Anthony's going to be big. And he's not at that level of the Skenes and the Holliday in terms of popularity in cards yet.
That's what, if you're watching BA breaks and you're doing our coverage at baseballamerica.com, that's the whole point of what we're doing here, is just that, like, we're trying to take away, basically eliminate the middleman here. You should be able to hear it quicker from us because we're reporting on this. This is what we do all the time. And so if you're wondering what prospects are popping, easy story about that is I'll never forget, several years ago now, but Josh Norris calling me on his way back from the first Carolina Mudcats home game of the season, or first game that this prospect had played in, and saying, I just saw the best prospect I'm going to see all year. And I was like, who? And he's like, Jackson Churio. And that guy went from being a solid number 10, top 10 prospect in the Brewer system to being like our first top 100 update. Like, he wasn't even in the top 100 anywhere before the season. Boom, he's like number 45 or whatever in our next update. He's in the top 5 and, in a blink of an eye. That's the kind of thing that we like doing. And Roman Anthony is a guy who, again, he popped last year, but then popped even further this year.
Absolutely. Roman Anthony is a guy to keep an eye on. We have Brandon Maella of the FCL Yankees. We have Noble Meyer of the Jupiter Hammerhead.
Easily set aside. Again, first-round pick of the Marlins, and one of the best. I'd probably take Thomas White, but one of the top 2 pitching prospects in the Marlins organization.
Okay. We have Drew Jones of the Visalia Rawhide. Speaking of Andrew Jones, here's this kid.
So now we have Andrew Jones. We have George Lombard Jr. Thankfully, there's not. I'm trying to think for 95 Braves. I'm not seeing. I think those were the only sons that I have to feel really old about. Ron Wright Jr. is not playing in the big leagues, playing in the minors anywhere. But Drew Jones, I would say, is a set aside for now. Great defense. There are some concerns about the bat, but he did make strides in 24, and obviously number 2 pick in the draft in 2022. So premium dude.
And we have a Chrome card coming up here, actually, for the FCL Twins. It's Ariel Castro.
Yeah, again, that's a solid prospect for the Twins. He's a Chrome card, so I'm going to add it to the set aside.
Okay. We have Cade Morris of the FCL Mets.
Okay.
Dylan Lesko of the Tin Caps. JJ, talk about Dylan Lesko.
So Dylan Lesko, I've never seen a better changeup in high school than watching Dylan Lesko at NHSI several years ago now. Unfortunately, in that game, he also blew out his elbow, and had Tommy John surgery. Worked his way back from that, but the control has not come back yet. The hope is it will. I actually saw him really good in spring training this year, and you can still see it in flashes, and then you see innings where it all falls apart. I would not put it in the set aside pile that we're doing here. But he is absolutely in the he could really pop, or if he doesn't fix the control issues, it could never come together. It's kind of his range of outcomes are mammoth, is the way I would put it.
Right. And then we close the pack with Camden Minacci of the Inland Empire 66ers. All right, on we go.
I'm glad to see, even with these guys we're not talking about, it's I'm not being stumped here. I could tell you, who these guys are. But that's what the draft update, the pro update set is like.
Absolutely. Well, we have a backwards card here we're going to be finishing the pack with here. So we have Kevin Sim of the ACL Diamondbacks.
Okay.
We have Adrian Sagasti of the Eugene Emeralds. Yep. We have Jace Borofin of the Dunedin Blue Jays. We have Braden Taylor of the Charleston River Dogs.
That's a set aside. That is, I think he slides maybe slightly under the radar. First round pick a couple of years ago out of TCU, if I remember right, for the Rays. Had a really good year this year. The only reason I say he slides under the radar is he did it in a Rays system and on the same teams with Xavier Isaac, who kind of had a breakout year, and Chandler Simpson, who led them Niners in batting average and stolen bases, and Trey Morgan, who, there's a lot of really good Rays prospects, but Braden Taylor might have the highest upside offensive combination when you consider his defense and his offensive upside of all those guys I just talked about.
So he's a put aside. He's a put aside.
Yep.
Okay, sold. Spencer Jones of the New York Baseball Yankees.
We already talked about him, but yeah, that's a set aside. That is just hope he can control the strikeouts.
Yeah. Anthony Peguero of the FCL Marlins.
Yep.
Drew Hackenberg of the FCL Braves. And we
again, Drew had a stretch late in the season, Double-A Mississippi, that was as effective as anybody. Virginia Tech product, if my memory serves correctly, but had a stretch there where he was striking out double digits over and over. Really seemed to make strides in 24. Wouldn't put him in the set-aside pile yet, but again, I wouldn't be shocked if he climbed into that list.
Okay, and then we're going to turn this around and see what our hit is here. It is an autograph of Brock Vradenberg of the Jupiter Hammerheads.
Okay. Again, like that's an auto card. I'm going to see. Brock is, where does Brock rate? I don't think we have him in our top 30 right now for them, but again, it's an auto set aside.
Yes, absolutely. So here we go. Home stretch, JJ. Home stretch. Oh, we got a nice refractor here. I'm going to save that one for the end. So we have Alfredo Duno of the Tortugas.
Easy set aside. This is some of the best young power. I just want him to be healthy. Duno's a top 100 prospect. Came from the same class as Ethan Salas, as a catcher, international class. Much bigger than Salas, much bigger power. Moves really well for a dude who, he's listed at 6'2", 210. If you told me he was more like 220, I mean, he's got tree trunk thighs, but moves well back there, and it is big-time power. Easy set aside.
Good to know. That's awesome. Carlos Jorge of the Dayton Dragons.
I really am a Jorge fan. Not a set aside right now. He didn't have a great year this year, but there's athleticism. He moved from the infield to the outfield. Center fielder now. Good defensive center fielder, too. Can't put him in the set aside pile right now, but I am a Jorge fan. Had a really good couple of years ago in the ACL. Good year 2 years ago in Daytona. Not so good this year in Dayton.
Cool. We've got Homer Bush Jr. of the San Antonio Missions. Wasn't he a Yankee at one
I'm
point?
feeling old with all these juniors because I do remember Homer Bush, but I would not put him in set aside yet because we're being stingy, but solid prospect. Enjoyed talking to Homer in spring training, if I remember.
Was he a Yankee and traded? Am I remembering correctly, or am I losing my mind?
I don't think so.
Okay, never mind. Sorry about that. We have Blake Mitchell of the ACL Royals.
Add him to the set-aside pile, top 100 prospect and one of the best prospects in the Royals system, catcher with some really athleticism and power.
Okay. Jun Seok Shim of the FCL Pirates.
He's intriguing. I'm not going to put him in the set-aside pile yet, but that's some interesting prospect.
Okay. We have Brandon Barriera of the Dunedin Blue Jays.
Injured this year, if I remember correctly, but a slam dunk top 10 prospect for the Blue Jays. I would not put him set aside right now, but again, that's because we're being really stingy.
Okay, and we're going to close this pack with an insert and with a really nice refractor, actually. So the insert is Blake Mitchell of the Royals again.
We just talked about it. That's an easy one, because that's a special card. And we just talked about it, set aside his regular card.
All right, and then we got this is a kind of a funky refractor. I always forget what this one is called. I'm sure somebody will tell me on the chat or we'll add it to later. But you see a little kind of checkerboard pattern. And that's George Lombard Jr. of the Tarpons again. So that's a nice hit right there.
That is that's a slam dunk one right
there. I'll take it. Happy to take it. So we still got one more auto. And who knows left? We still have 7 more packs left. So we've only just begun.
We said we were going to do this in 20 minutes.
We got a backwards card. We'll come back. So let's see how if we can get through this.
Kemp Alderman there?
Yeah, but I don't think so. Kemp Alderman of the Jupiter Hammerhawks.
There's some power in Kemp's bat, but not a set aside. But yeah.
Jake Bloss of the Fayetteville Woodpeckers.
I would say that's a set aside. Traded to the Blue Jays in the Kikuchi trade. One of the first players from the 2023 draft to make the big leagues. Because of all that, put him in the set aside.
I will do that. That's awesome. Jake Bennett of the Wilmington Blue Rocks.
One of the better prospects in the national system. Not a set aside, but yeah, but a good prospect.
Jacob Gonzalez of the Kannapolis Cannonballers.
First round pick a couple of years ago. Not a set aside right now, but a good bat. Question about where he'll play defensively eventually.
Cade Horton of the Tennessee Smokies seems like a set aside.
Set aside. I just want to see Cade be healthy. He did have some injury issues, but one of the top prospects in the Cubs system. One of the better pitching prospects in the minors. Is he going to be a starter long term or a dominant reliever? We'll see. 2 pitches are great. Now we want to see a third.
Cool. You ever heard of Wyatt Langford?
Yeah, I mean, that's, again, if you're watching this and you don't know who Wyatt Langford is, but that's an easy set aside. Rocketed to the majors, obviously. Spent pretty much the entire year there this year. Florida product from from the 2023 draft. Almost like his minor league time. He lit up the minors in 23, but it could be described as a cup of coffee in the minors and a much longer stay in the majors.
That's awesome. So he set aside. We have Leonardo Bernal of the Palm Beach Cardinals.
Leo Bernal is a solid prospect. Again, I wouldn't set him aside, but yeah, he's a top 30 prospect for the Cardinals.
And our backwards card, which is also our next auto, is a chrome spark. Looks like a sparkle refractor of Ty Pete.
Ty Pete, another very good Mariners prospect. I'm going to look up to see where Ty ranked in our most recent. Middle of the pack in their system again, like 13, I think, in our top 30 for them, which easy set aside as a refractor auto. And again, that's a guy who pretty solid prospect. Again, Mariner, not all top 30s are the same. A top 30 in a deep system being middle of the pack is very different than being middle of the pack in a thin system. The Mariners is a very deep system, especially a very top-heavy system. I guess I should say probably more than anything.
I have heard good things about the Mariners system, and that is a really pretty sparkle refractor auto there, so that's nice here. So we got another chrome here coming up and an insert. We have Nathan Hickey of the Portland Sea Dogs.
Mm-hmm. Another Red Sox prospect.
We have Connor Burns of the Daytona Tortugas.
One of the best defensive catchers. I'm not going to put him in the set-aside pile, but a great defensive catcher.
Cool. Henry Bolte of the Stockton Ports.
Intriguing A's prospect, top 10 prospect. Not a set-aside right now, but again, could end up moving into that pile eventually.
Okay. Hunter Holland of the ACL Reds.
Finally got back on the mound. He's had a lot of injuries. Again, when we talk about SEC products, Arkansas, again here with Hunter. But glad to see him back on the mound. Not a set-aside right now, but interesting prospect.
Okay. Alberto Rios of the Inland Empire 66ers.
Mm-hmm. Solid again.
Another Ty Pete of the Modesto Nuts. We just saw him.
We don't need to set him aside this one. We'll set aside the refractor.
Our insert, greetings from Arizona, Oswaldo Azario of the ACL Dodgers.
Okay, so I'm going to see if he cracked our top 30. Mm-hmm. I don't think he did. I'd still set it aside as a special card, and that is Josh came back from spring training raving about the backfield's Dodgers younger players as much as anyone. So yeah,
awesome.
Set aside.
And our next chrome refractor is another Drew Jones.
Okay, so there we go.
We're doing well. There we go. So we've got our 4 autos. We've got 5 packs left. Let's see if there's any surprises in here for us. We have a backwards card, so that's always nice to see. We have Sean Sullivan of the Fresno Grizzlies.
Really effective. Doesn't throw real hard. Really effective. Not a set aside right now, but
Lucas Gordon of the Kannapolis Cannonballers. Mm-hmm. Roderick Arias of the Tampa Tarpons.
That's set aside. Didn't have a great year this year, but that's one of the better young Yankees prospects out there, and I was setting aside.
And Yankees prospect cards, tend to do very, very well, as we've seen from the Jason Dominguez market and et cetera. So yes, we have Johnny Farmello of the Modesto Nuts.
Again, top. That's a set aside. That's a tore his ACL mid-season, but really good Mariners prospect.
Okay. We have Caden Dana of the Tri-City Dust Devils.
That's a set aside. Made a major league debut. Probably a little early because this is the Angels, and the Angels' idea is move them as fast as you can. But Dana, held his own in Double-A this year and made the majors, so I'd say set aside.
Okay. Well, that's good. This has been a surprisingly good pack for us so far. Jack Hurley of the Hillsboro Hops.
Mm-hmm.
We have an insert card of Aiden Miller, Road to the Show insert card. And our backwards card is Adam Mazur of the San Antonio Missions, and that is numbered to 99.
So we told, as we said with that before, solid pitching prospect for the, who, again, I think if memory serves, maybe even made the majors briefly this year. I'll look that up. But, it's, let's see, did Adam make the majors? Yeah, he did. He made 8 starts. Not great 8 starts, but he did make 8 starts in the big leagues this year.
Okay. Our next pack, I think we have a chrome coming up here. We have
Nolan McLean there, big two-way guy, although I think he is now maybe not as much two-way, but two-way hitter-pitcher.
Okay.
Not a set-aside, but yeah.
Jacob Wilson of the Lugnuts is doing pretty well.
Set aside, one of the few guys, if he never goes back down to the minors, they're pretty much, I don't know if there's anyone else in the 21st century who can say that they're a 400 minor league hitter.
Ricardo Cabrera of the Daytona Tortugas.
That's the 3rd time.
Yeah. Another Colin Houck of the Mets.
Yep.
We have a
Rainer Arias again. Now we're starting to get into some of these repeats.
This one is a chrome refractor, so we'll happily take that one. Sabin Sabalos of the Augusta Green Jackets.
Yep.
Zach Levinson of the Palm Beach Cardinals.
Okay.
And Carson Roccaforte of the Columbia Fireflies. And to anyone whose name I'm mispronouncing, I deeply, deeply apologize.
Better
Three
you
more
pronouncing
packs.
I'm the worst pronunciator is there is.
It's all good. This is already the best. Okay, so we have a backwards card here. This is already the best box of Pro Debut I've ever opened. Warming Bernabel, one of my favorite names in baseball, of the Hartford Yard Goats.
Rockies prospect and a top 30 prospect.
Bryson Mouts.
Mm-hmm.
Luis Perales of the Greenville Drive, another Red Sox prospect.
I would add him to the set aside. He got hurt this year, but before it did crack the 100.
Okay, well, that's good. Hurston Waldrep.
First rounder a couple years ago. I would add him to the set aside pile.
Okay. Dylan Head.
Traded this year to the Marlins. Now one of the better prospects in the Marlins. Just I wouldn't set aside yet, but really fast, really good defense, and now we'll see about the bat.
Okay. Kendall George of the Dodgers.
We already got a Kendall earlier. Yep, like we got a special Kendall. So
we have a Chrome Refractor of Parker Messick.
We talked about Parker earlier, but it's a Refractor. Definitely add him to the pile. Again, I think he's going to, wouldn't shock me if he had a 25 plus start season in the big leagues at some point. Really knows how to pitch, works the edges, mixes his pitches.
Okay. And our backwards card is another sparkly guy of Samuel Basallo again, and this one is numbered to 175. So we'll happily take that one. Two more packs, JJ. It's the home stretch. You can tell we're new at this, especially me, because I'm already winded here. This is a lot. This has been really fun here, and I'm very excited about going through these guys later. So, Blade Tidwell of the Binghamton Rumble Ponies, my former hometown.
Yeah, I don't want to put him. That's on the fringe of the set aside. He's the guy who can really pitch. I'll set him aside. He's one of the better Mets pitching prospects.
Jackson Wiggins of the ACL Cubs.
Another Arkansas product, if I remember correctly, but you don't have to set them aside, but yeah.
I'll take your word for it. Cam Fisher of the Fayetteville Woodpeckers.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Eldridge of the Giants, I've heard good things about.
We cover the, if you haven't seen this, go to Instagram or Twitter, and we just posted our cover. Bryce Eldridge is on the cover. I will say, nothing against this card, but our photo's better.
Yeah, I agree. Yordani De Los Santos in the Pirates organization from the Marauders. Connor O'Halloran of the Dunedin Blue Jays.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus Brown of the Nationals. And
I apologize to all these guys, but again, we're over an hour now, so I'm trying to go, more than sharing notes on every single player like I seem to have the habit of.
And Chris Newell of the Great Lakes Loons. All right, JJ.
Final pack.
Last pack. There's this thing in the hobby and Rips, JJ, called Last Pack Magic. Let's see if we get a little bit of Last Pack Magic. And I just want to point out that JJ and I have done 2 breaks together on Baseball America now. The first one, we got a triple auto that included Jackson Chourio. This one, we've already hit a 1-of-1 Superfractor, which you can see here on the stage here. So JJ alone is break magic in here. But let's see if we get a little Last Pack Magic to go along with that. There is an 87 card and a Chrome in here. So we will end with those. We've got Caden Wallace of the Northwest Arkansas Naturals.
Got one of the rare guys to get to play with his own brother on the same team in the minor leagues.
Cool. That's cool. Abimelech Ortiz of the Hickory Crawdads.
The Ortiz, one of the better hitters in the Rangers system. Not a set aside right now, but he said you had a really good 23 season.
Okay. Another Rumble Pony, Kevin Parada. I believe he was a first-round pick.
First rounder out of Georgia Tech. Wouldn't set him aside right now, but first rounder out of Georgia Tech a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Axel Sanchez of the Everett Aqua Sox, Mariners organization. Another Enrique Bradfield Jr. from the Aberdeen Ironbirds.
Mm-hmm.
There's another Sebastian Walcott. There's the base version of the, by the way, 1-of-1.
I would add it. That's an easy ad, but not as nice as the other one. But
yes, this is still a set aside, even in its base version.
Yep.
Yes, I'll do it happily. Our 1987 takes us to Scott Rowland on, I believe, the Reading Phillies.
Scott Rowland, who I was writing about in college because he had signed with Georgia not to play third base, but to be a shooting forward, a small forward for the Georgia basketball team. He made the right choice.
Yeah, I think so too. And then on the last card of the break is another Chrome Refractor from the Giants, Jonah Cox of the San Jose Giants.
Okay. So again, these are not every refractor you're going to get is like the best prospect in baseball. Although we did pretty good with that 1-of-1 but.
So I just want to show you
a solid prospect, number 27 in our Giants top 30 in our most recent update, I believe.
So I want to show you something real quick here. So these are the 2 stacks I've made. And we'll do a quick recap here in a second. These are the 2 stacks I made during the break. The one on the left are the put-asides that JJ has hopes for over 50 grade hopes. The ones on the right are guys who are worth keeping and looking at, and you never know, but not the set asides. When I pull this myself, if I were to break this box myself, the stack on the left would be about a third of that size. So that's some good insight for you right there. So before I knock down all the cards on the stage here, let's just quickly recap some of the hits that we got here. I'm just going to quickly go through them. We got Samuel Basallo, Parker Messick. A lot of these, I'm starting with the Chrome Refractors. Rainer Arias, Drew Jones, George Lombard Jr., Ariel Castro, Enrique Bradfield Jr. again, Ricardo Cabrera, Emmanuel Bonilla, Marion Boyd, Kendall George, Jonah Cox. Those are our refractor Chrome Refractors. We got the Scott Rowland throwback. We got our Sebastian Walcott base card, and we got a much better one of him coming up here in a second. We got Bryce Eldridge, Blade Tidwell, Hurston Waldrep, Luis Perales, Jacob Wilson, Aiden Miller insert, Caden Dana, Johnny Farmello, Roderick Arias, Oswaldo Asaria insert, Wyatt Langford, Cade Horton, Jake Bloss, Blake Mitchell, another Blake Mitchell, Alfredo Duno, Anthony Peguero, Spencer Jones, Braden Taylor, Drew Jones, Noble Meyer, Roman Anthony. I got to put some of these down. There's too many cards. Moises Ballesteros, Cole Carrig, Josue DePaula, Walker Jenkins, Jace Jung, Adam Jones throwback, Davison De Los Santos, Luke Keyshaw, Dylan Cruz Road to the Show, George Lombard Jr., Samuel Basallo, Colin Houck, Cooper Ingle, Chase DeLauder, Aiden Miller, Max Clark, Justin Crawdad, Paul Skenes, Colby Thomas, Austin Charles, Spencer Jones, Elijah Green, Matt Shaw, Cole Young, Jackson Holliday, Rhett Lauder, Robbie Snelling, Ricardo Cabrera, Jet Williams, Dylan Cruz, Kristian Campbell, Angel Janau, Ivan Melendez, Cam Collier, Brandon Winokur, Noah Schultz, Paul Skenes, maybe you've heard of the guy, Ethan Salas, Felman Celestin. We have our.
I'm not trying to call out Peguero, but there was a Peguero card that worked its way in there that wasn't a set aside. But that's okay.
Sorry about that. But
right.
We have our stage here with our autographs, and the hit of the break, a 1-of-1 Sebastian Walcott Superfractor autograph. My jaw was on the floor when we hit this card. I got a Superfractor in an online break once. I've never actually pulled one myself. JJ, I'm glad we got to document this for forever and ever. This is a monster hit. And again, it is prospect season times 1,000 right now, Baseball America. We've got updated top 10s and top 30s coming in the coming weeks, especially the top 10s, which I believe are starting next week. And
yes,
like pro debut, if you're excited for the upcoming Bowman draft, any of the prospect sets now, drop your money on a Baseball America subscription, because I promise you it will be the best investment you ever made in terms of knowing who to invest in, who to get, and where to jump on the bandwagon before anybody else knows what's going on. I did that. I've done that with Paul Skenes. I've eaten a lot of nice dinners thanks to knowing about Paul Skenes before a lot of other people did. JJ, this was a really fun break. I really enjoyed these insights, and I learned a lot today. Any final thoughts as I'm going to continue to hold this up? And
the thing I learned is how important the Super Refractor, especially a 1-of-1 Super Refractor, is. And that's where I learned that. And it's also it's fun for me to see, like, this is a set where there's the set asides and the guys we don't. Some of those that we didn't are going to be top 100 prospects in a year or two. We're trying to be I'll try to be circumspect with how many we put aside. So thumbs up.
Absolutely. JJ, thank you again. Again, like, subscribe, comment, email us, message us on social media. What do you want to see us talk about with baseball cards? Is this helpful? I find it hugely helpful. What do you want to know from JJ and from the rest of our staff? We got a lot of really great people here who know a lot of stuff. Let us be your secret weapon. He's JJ. I'm Seth. Thank you for joining us, and have a great night.